Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton, host of Invent America. And Invent America is dedicated to helping inventors get from that I have an idea stage to the marketplace. And so we go through all the different phases. Today, we've got with us Sarah. And she has got a very cool invention, but she's at the very beginning of this phase. So today we're talking about, what does that first pitch look like? How do you get someone's attention? And, if they're walking by at a trade show or you've got them on, a phone conversation and they've never heard of you before, what do you say? What do you do? All right. So Sarah, introduce yourself a little bit and tell us, kind of how you got to the point of having this idea.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rita. It's nice to be here with you. I got the idea with my brother, who's an amazing concrete artist, and I've grown up around construction and concrete my whole life. And one of the problems with concrete finishers that they have is it takes a while to learn how to use the big trowel. And so they have the power trowel for the big jobs, and they have even a power trowel for medium jobs. But for small jobs, you have to use this big steel rectangle. And it takes years for a concrete finisher to actually do it right and smooth the concrete correctly without making dings and stuff. And so he invented a power trowel, which is something that goes on a power tool. And it's like a mini power trowel. So it's a fan, and it goes, and it presses the concrete down, and do-it-yourselfers kids could use it if it was safe enough. I mean, it's going to have a guard on it, but it's just easy to use. And so it's basically solving the problem of being able to finish concrete jobs like countertops, stairs, walls, stucco, spreading coloring in, and that type of thing. And I have a love of houses and construction. I've been in real estate for the last 2 decades. So I love to flip houses. I love to paint. I love to get dirty, which is really entertaining because, I'm a girl. Yes, girls can get dirty.
You're talking to a girl who throws a 600 horsepower blower on her back and walks up the mountain. So
I love blowers.
Definitely understand that, getting dirty part. I know it's, last spring, my husband and I moved 5.5 tons of rock with a wheelbarrow and a shovel. So definitely get that, working hard, getting dirty and feeling really good then when the job is done. So yes, because we do live in the forest and it requires, some attention. And so, when you're looking now, all right, so we're going to the trade show. And, what do you say to someone when they're first walking by? How do you do that short pitch to get somebody's attention?
I will ask them if they've ever finished concrete before, if they've ever worked with concrete, and if they've ever worked with the regular trowel before, and a lot of them have, and they know what I'm talking about. And it's not an easy tool it takes about 4 years for a concrete finisher to be good with the trowel. Okay. So, any beginner isn't going to pick it up and do it.
Exactly. And most homeowners, a wife is going to get real cranky at 4 years of a husband's learning curve.
Yeah. And it's just easier, even for the contract. And if they do know their way around a trowel, then, they might be getting wrist issues or carpal tunnel issues like my brother got. His knuckles and wrists are just enlarged because of that. And to be able to just hold the power tool, it's so much faster than it is to do the manual labor tool.
Right. So when you're giving your pitch on this, you ask the question, all right, and then you tell them how you solved it. All right. And then the next one they generally want to know is price points.
Yeah.
So in the short first, 15-second conversation, problem, solution, price point.
Yeah.
So I always tell inventors, it's like, you got to have a ballpark idea that you can make this at a competitive price with other things in, the power tools, other power tools in a Home Depot aisle or an Ace Hardware. And so, that homework is really important to have. Once you get through that part of the conversation, then they'll start asking questions.
Yeah.
Now, there's some things that they're not entitled to know. All right. What do you pay for manufacturing? So if you were in startup mode or you had some manufacturing, it's like, that is proprietary information, and the licensee will determine their own price points. And I
Yeah.
always tell inventors, it's like stand in front of the mirror and practice that proprietary information.
Proprietary.
Very good, very good. And because what they're trying to do is, push down the pricing. And, as an inventor looking for licensing, the licensee is the one that really is going to handle that. So, we always look at what makes sense to say, and then, what is just, no, that's over the line, you don't get to ask that. Once your patent is published, anybody can see it if they go look for it. So that is like, oh, that you have to sign an NDA for that. It's like, that they're not going to buy that. They know better. So, and then once your patent issues, of course, it is public. So they're not going to buy it. It's like, oh, I can't tell you that, it's in the patent. But there are some things as far as pricing goes. And that really is none of their business, because the licensee is going to be doing that, which is good.
Yeah. And I feel like that the manufacturing cost is a decent enough cost where it's going to be something that'll work. The tool, as far as the tool goes, it has the ability to be more expensive because it's got the and it's a registered, approved patent. It's already on Google, so we're past that point.
Okay.
But one of the cool parts and the elements of this tool, it's got detachable blades. So there's 4 detachable blades, and those blades could be things like polishing blades or buffing blades, or and you could also replace the blades if they run out after a certain amount of time after so many uses. So it does have an element of reusing, which I like to, for the environment. But again, it's going to depend on who ends up manufacturing it. There might be like some sort of a base model that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, and then or not.
So anyway, a lot of times I tell inventors, it's like, it's not a bad idea to go and practice your pitch. There's a lot of different places probably around your area where you could go and practice. What you don't want to do is get so excited about the people sitting in the audience that you think one of them is going to be your investor or your major buyer, because generally, no, they're there to kind of pick you apart, but it's a learning session. Don't get crazy going to pitch fest. I see some inventors, it's like, I'm going to a pitch fest here and I'm going to a pitch fest there. No, you're living your life pitching and not actually working on the product then. So learn, practice in front of the mirror, practice in front of the neighbors. It's like, all right, give me your feedback. Was I clear? Was my message clear? Were my words clear? Is there one word out there that takes, the place of this whole sentence? And when you practice that, you get better and better at it. And that's really important when you're at a trade show, because you've only got a few seconds to make an impression.
Yes, that's what I've seen that. I went to the World of Concrete trade show last year, and I brought the tool with me. Actually, I thought that my patent was done last year, so it was really foolish for a minute, but it only happened, I realized it during the time there, but it was a really good practice for the National Hardware Show that we're going to go to, because I saw it's amazing. Like, you do just have like a few minutes to exchange information and contact information, and then go to the next. So
absolutely. So, well, you're on the right track. You're doing well, and we are glad to have you with us.
Oh, I'm so excited to be with your journey. Thank you, Rita.